Hi students, myself Satish Kumar Konidala, Assistant Professor, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, Guntur. In this video, I would like to discuss about anti-neoplastic agents. Anti-neoplastic agents are nothing but the drugs which can act against the neoplasm. Here the neoplasm is nothing but including the both benign tumors as well as the malignant tumors. The tumor meaning is nothing but the abnormal cell growth or mass. So as I said that neoplasm is nothing but the combination of benign and malignant tumor. Here the benign tumor is the a tumor or abnormal growth of the cell which is not a cancerous in nature, but the malignant tumor is the cancerous in nature and it can able to kill the other adjacent normal cells. And coming to the causes of these cancers, so the general causes of the cancer includes biological or internal factors such as age, gender, inherited genetic defects, and some skin types. And environmental factors like when we are exposed to the radiation or UV radiation which is present in the sunlight, and occupational factors which are leading to the cancer are nothing but when we are exposed to the carcinogens, so like chemicals, radioactive materials, and asbestos. And some of the lifestyle factors which may lead to the cancer are nothing but consumption of the tobacco, alcohol, and some food related factors such as consumption of nitrates or polyaromatic hydrocarbons which are generated by the roasting of the foods or barbecuing of the foods. Some of the bacteria and viruses can able to produce the cancers. Examples are Helicobacter pylori and hepatitis virus and some other. These are the two examples which can able to produce the cancers. And some radiations are also causing the cancers. So these are the some factors which may lead to producing the cancer. So as we seen that most of the cases, for example, when you goes to the movie theaters or when you're watching the TV, so at the beginning of the every movie or at every TV show, they shown that so consumption of the tobacco, alcohol may leads to the cancer, so which are dangerous in nature. So that means the most or general causes of the cancer producing things are nothing but the consumption of tobacco in any form and consumption of the alcohol. So as we know that tobacco having the tobacco smoke or cigarette smoke having the about 7,000 chemicals. Out of that 7,000 chemicals, 70 chemicals can able to produce the and some general chemicals which may lead to the cancer which are present in the tobacco are nothing but acetone, acetic acid, ammonia, arsenic, benzene, nicotine, formaldehyde, lead, naphthalene, tar and toluene. So these are the some examples which may present in the tobacco smoke, so that may lead to the cancer. So nicotine is the addictive drug. Along with the chemicals, this tobacco smoke also having the tar and poisonous gases like carbon monoxide. And this carbon monoxide deposit in the lungs may lead to the lung cancer. As I said that nicotine is the addictive drug, one of the constant of the cigarette smoke, and the deposit of nicotine may lead to the development of some type of cancers. Tobacco smoke can able to produce the some of the cancers like mouth, nose and throat cancer, larynx cancer, trachea, esophagus, lungs, stomach, pancreas, liver, kidneys and uterus. So these are the some type of cancers which can be produced by the cigarette smoke or tobacco. So when it comes to the alcohol consumption, this alcohol consumption may also produce the different type of cancers. Alcohol is also known as the ethanol. So the pure alcohol, so when it is consumed by the humans, so that can be converted into acetaldehyde. So which is the carcinogenic substance that may lead to the damage of the cells. And it is also fluctuating the hormonal levels in our body. So when there is a fluctuation in the hormonal levels or hormonal secretion, that may lead to the development of some type of cancers. So the consumption of the alcohol increases the risk of at least 7 types of cancers in our body, namely female breast cancers, liver, mouth, throat, esophagus, bowel, and stomach cancers. So these are the different types of cancers which can be produced by the consumption of alcohols. And the oncology is the one of the subject which deals with the treatment and prevention of the cancers. When you visit the corporate hospitals or large scale hospitals, we may notice that oncology department or oncology wing. So the meaning of oncology or the term oncology is nothing but which deals with the prevention and treatment of cancer. So the oncology is nothing but prevention and treatment of cancer. And so this department is again subdivided into medical oncology, surgical oncology, and radiotherapy oncology. So the medical oncology is nothing but it will utilize the chemical or natural substances to treat the cancers. So that means the drugs are used for the treatment of the cancer. So that is nothing but the medical oncology. That drugs are named as the anti-cancer agents or anti-neoplastic agents or chemotherapeutic agents. So these drugs known as chemotherapeutic agents or anti-cancer agents or anti-neoplastic agents utilized as the combination therapy or adjunct therapy. So combination therapy means so they are combined together. So here different types of chemical substances are used as the anti-neoplastic agents or chemotherapeutic agents. For a particular type of cancer, they can utilize the one or more type of chemical substances as the treatment. So that is known as the combinational therapy. And adjunct therapy is nothing but sometimes some of the cancers may require the surgery or radiotherapy. So along with the surgery or radiotherapy, so the chemotherapeutic agents are used, and this type of treatment is called as the adjunct therapy. So in this way, the anti-cancer agents or neoplastic agents are utilized as the first line treatment for the different type of cancers. After completion of your course, that is after completion of your B Pharm or your Bachelor of Pharmacy, you may register as the pharmacist. So when you're dealing with the drugs like this, that is anti-neoplastic agents or anti-cancer agents at pharmacies or hospitals, even at industries, so you should know the how to handle that. So these chemotherapeutic agents or anti-neoplastic agents are highly potent and toxic in nature. So that's why you should know how to handle these drugs and what type of side effects or what type of adverse effects can be produced by these type of drugs. So you should know better than the other people. Okay. So for that reason, so in our curriculum, they mentioned the anti-neoplastic agent, one of the topic. Before going to discuss about the components which are given in your syllabus, I will show how the anti-neoplastic agents will act on the different phases of cell cycle, or how they will inhibit the abnormal growth of the cells or uncontrolled replication of the cell growth. A cell is the functional and basic unit of life, often called as building block of the life. Humans have about 100 trillion cells. Our body is constantly producing new cells. Here, let we discuss how the cells divide, how the chemotherapy affect the cells that are dividing, and how the chemotherapy affect the cancer cells. When a normal cell divides, it goes through a series of steps including duplication of its DNA, which contain the genetic information used for the development and functioning of living organisms. The end result of the cell division is the formation of two identical daughter cells. Let's begin to explore how this process happens. The cell goes to many distinct steps as it divides. After cell initial formation, it goes into a inactive resting phase called as G0 phase. The cells then grows larger in size and makes proteins. These are important for next step. This process is called as G1 phase. The cells creates two identical copies of its DNA and preparation for dividing the cells. This phase is called S phase. The second growth phase called as G2 phase. The cells continuously to grow and make more proteins for final stage. The grown cells finally splits into two cells and the two copies of DNA distributes equally between the two daughter cells. This process is called as M phase or mitotic phase as it completes the cell division. Effect of chemotherapy on cell division. In normal cells, there are checkpoints at every stage of cell division process to make sure that cells to grow and divide in regulated way. In cancer cells, these checkpoints are broken and cancer cells grow out of control. Chemotherapy drugs acts through many different ways to disrupt cell division. Some chemotherapy drugs can act on resting cells as well as actively dividing cells. Other chemo drugs can act on only during the specific stages of cell cycle. For example, some chemo drugs bind to DNA exactly when cells making a copy of its DNA by preventing the cells to make the second copy of DNA. Stops the cell's division. Other chemo drugs prevents cells from splitting into two daughter cells. They prevent the DNA being equally dividing between the two cells, thereby preventing the cell division. Cancers are formed when abnormal cells divide rapidly without any control. Because of chemotherapy drugs targets different steps during the process of cell division, they are good at killing the cells that are dividing rapidly like cancer cells. Chemotherapy can also damage normal cells that are dividing rapidly and this can cause side effects like hair loss, etc. After completion of this video, student can understand the chemistry of drugs with respect to their pharmacological activities and understand the drug metabolic pathways, adverse effects and therapeutic value of the drugs. And also, student can able to know about the structural activity relationship of different class of the anti-neoplastic agents. And finally, so this will be useful for study the chemical synthesis of some selected anti-neoplastic agents. And the contents of this video includes introduction regarding the cancer and types of cancer, what is meant by neoplastic agent, classification, mechanism of action, SAR, structural activity relationship of neoplastic agents. Finally, we are going to discuss about the synthesis properties and pharmacological uses of some important anti-neoplastic agents like merclorethamine, mercaptopurine and methotrexate. So let us discuss one by one. So first we will see the introduction regarding the cancer. So cancer is nothing but the group of disease in which abnormal cells divide without control and are able to invade other tissues. These cancer cells can spread to the other parts of the body through the blood and lymph systems. This process is called as metastasis. And this is the some pictorial representation of how the cancer cell will grow from the normal cells. Coming to the characteristics of cancer cells, cancer involves the development and reproduction of abnormal cells. Cancer cells are usually non-functional, and these cells grow is not subjected to normal body control mechanisms. So that means the normal body control mechanisms cannot control the cancer cell growth. And cancer cells eventually metastasize to the other organs via the circulatory and lymphatic systems. And here we can see how the normal cell and cancer cells will divide or subjected to division, so during the cell cycle. So in case of normal cell division, so the parent cell is divided into two daughter cells, and each daughter cell is divided into again two daughter cells. And at this stage, so one of the daughter cell is subjected to cell damage and without no repair, and that may lead to the cell suicide or apoptosis. So apoptosis is nothing but the cell death. And here, so the rate of cell damage is approximately equal to the cell division. So this is happened in case of normal cell division. But in case of cancer cell division, so the cancer cells are the mutants. So the mutant cells are subjected to division. So in case of first step, they are subjected to divide into daughter cells. In this case, so the mutant cell will destroy the adjacent cells. So thereby the number of normal cell content is decreased, and this mutant cells, second generation daughter mutant cells, will produce the third mutation. So here the replication process is not controlled, thereby multiplication is more in case of these third mutant daughter cells. And the further division, in the further division, so there is no control, so thereby rapid growth or uncontrolled growth will occur in the daughter cells, and there is no cell apoptosis in this case, so thereby uncontrolled cell mass is occurred in case of cancer cell division. And when come to the types of tumors, here the tumor is nothing but abnormal growth of the cells in our tissues, abnormal growth of the cells in our tissues. And these tumors are of two types. So first one is a benign tumor, and second one is a malignant tumor. Benign tumors are non-cancerous and not an immediate threat to the life. So even though treatment is required in some situations, but in case of malignant tumors, so these are tending to worsen condition and sometimes may lead to the death. And these malignant tumors will invasive and leads to the metastasis condition. So here is the some pictorial differentiation we can observe. So in case of normal cells, so there is a single layered normal cells are present. In that, the benign tumor is outgrowth of the single layer. That means the multi-layered growth is observed in case of benign cells, but there is no threat by these cells to the normal cells. But in case of malignant tumors, so they are also appear in the multi-layered cells, and they has the cancerous activity. So they have the cancerous nature, and it invades the adjacent normal cells and also lead to the metastasis. The cancers are grouped into the different classes based upon the function and their location where they are occurred. In that way, so the cancers are classified into different classes: carcinomas, sarcoma, leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, central nervous system cancers. And in case of carcinoma, so these carcinomas are nothing but the cancers which are related to the skin or in tissues that lining or cover internal organs. So examples are epithelial cells. So most of the cancers, about 80 to 90% of reported cancers cases are nothing but carcinomas. In case of sarcoma, so this is nothing but the cancer which is related to the bone, cartilage, fat, muscle, blood vessels, and other connective or supportive tissues. In case of leukemia, so which is nothing but the cancer related to white blood cells and bone marrow cells. Lymphoma, so this is the cancer related to the immune system cells, so that can able to affect the lymphatic system. Myeloma is nothing but the cancer related to B cells that produce the antibodies, and central nervous system cancers are nothing but the cancers so that are occurred in the brain and spinal cord. And coming to the anti-neoplastic agents are also called as anti-cancer agents. So these are nothing but the drugs which can act against to the neoplasms or cancer tissues. In case of anti-neoplastic agents, the fraction of the tumor cells so that are in the replicative cycle. So these replicative cycle cells are susceptible to the anti-neoplastic agents or chemotherapeutic agents. So these anti-neoplastic agents are nothing but the chemotherapeutic agents which are used in the treatment of cancers. Along with these chemotherapeutic agents, different procedures are available to treat the cancers. The cells which are undergoing the rapid division, and that cells are generally more sensitive to the anti-cancer drugs. So that means non-proliferative cells are survival against the toxicity of anti-neoplastic agents, but proliferating cells are susceptible to the anti-neoplastic agents. So generally in case of cell cycle, the normal cells and tumor cells are undergoing the growth. The normal cells will differ in the number with that of the neoplastic tissues or neoplastic cells. That means in case of neoplastic cells, the number of cells replicated is more when compared to the normal cells. So the number or the fast replicating cells are susceptible to the neoplastic agents, anti-neoplastic agents than the normal cells. And here are some differences between the normal cell and cancer cells. When compared to the normal cell, cancer cells are large, variable shaped nuclei, which is having the variable shaped nuclei. Many cells are divided in cancer cells, and disorganized arrangement is occurred in the cancer cell when compared to the normal cell. These cancer cells are variation in size and shape, and loss of normal features. That means the functions, normal functions of the cells are lost in case of cancer cells when compared to the normal cell. So for better understanding of the actions of anti-neoplastic agent, we should know the cell cycle, what is going on around the cell cycle. So let us see what is happening throughout the cell cycle. So generally the G1 phase is the primary growth phase. So that is a G1 phase or gap phase, which is the primary growth phase. So in this phase, the normal cellular functions takes place. So that means making of the proteins and maturation. So the growth of the cell is occurred in the G1 phase. And some of the cells which are entering into the G0 phase. So from this G1 phase, some cells are entering into the G0 phase, and this phase most of the cells are in resting, and they are stay about hours and even days also. After this G0 or G1 phase, so these cells are entering into the S phase. So in this S phase, DNA synthesis will occur. DNA synthesis will occur. That means the cells begins the preparation for division. So in this phase, every chromosome will duplicate the another chromosome, and this process is called as the replication. So the S phase includes the DNA synthesis, that is also called as a replication. So after this, it is entered into the G2 phase, that is a gap 2 phase. So in this phase, the developed or produced chromosomes are subjected to checking for errors, or it is also called as a second period of the growth for preparation of the cell division. So during this phase, what will happen? The produced chromosomes which are occurred in the S phase are checked for if any errors are there, or that can be repaired in this G2 phase. That means it can ready the cells to cell division, and after that they are enter into the mitosis. So that is M phase. So in this case, in this phase, the parent cell nucleus with its duplicated chromosomes are divided. So that means in the same cytoplasm, the nucleus and the duplicated chromosomes are divided into two identical daughters. And at the end of the mitosis phase, that is at the end of the M phase, cytokinesis occurs. Cytokinesis is nothing but the cytoplasm is divided into two daughter cells, each of which has a complete set of the parent cells DNA and other cellular structures. Okay, so this has happened in the cell cycle. And here how the normal and cancer cells are grown throughout the cell cycle. In case of normal cells, so the parent cell is divided into two daughter cells, and the two daughter cells again divided into two identical daughter cells. And at a particular situation or at eventual situations, these replication process will stops in case of normal cells. But in case of mutated cells or cancer cells, the replication process is not controlled or uncontrolled, and there is no stoppage of cell division occurs. So that's why there is a huge cell mass growth is happened. So in multi-layered, so that is appeared as the abnormal cells. So there is a differentiation between the normal cell and cancer cell growth. And so as I said that in case of normal cells, there is a well differentiated cells and uniform growth is occurred. But in case of cancer cells, uncontrolled cell division, damaged cells along with the unfunctional cells are appeared in the cancer cells. When we administer the chemotherapeutic agent or anti-neoplastic agents, these agents will act on the fast replicating cells or uncontrolled cell divisions, or the cells which are undergoing the uncontrolled division. Replicated cells are more susceptible to these chemotherapeutic agents, and these chemotherapeutic agents will damage the cancerous cells, thereby it kills these damaged cells and it remains the healthy cells only. So that is the action of chemotherapeutic agents or anti-neoplastic agents. So when they are administered to the cancerous cells, it acts on the fast replicating cells and it kills that fast replicating cells or abnormal cells and remains the healthy cells. Coming to the classification of anti-neoplastic agents, these anti-neoplastic agents are classified into two types based on site of action and according to their chemical nature. So first one is based on site of action and chemical classification. And this based on site of action drugs are again divided into two types: phase specific agents and phase non-specific agents. Phase specific agents are nothing but these drugs act on particular phase of the cell cycle and they are more effective in proliferating cells. So for example, in case of vincristine, which will act on the G1 phase, and in case of S phase, methotrexate, cytarabine, 6-mercaptopurine, 5-fluorouracil, daunorubicin, doxorubicin. So these drugs act on the S phase and thereby it inhibits the cell cycle or cell replication process. And in case of G2 phase, daunorubicin and bleomycin are act on the G2 phase, so it inhibits the cell growth. And vincristine, vinblastine and paclitaxel, these drugs will act on the mitosis phase, that is M phase. So these are some examples which can act as the phase specific agents. When you observe this picture, so there is a different anti-neoplastic agents will act on different specific phases and thereby it inhibits the cell growth. So for example, in case of cyclophosphamide, bleomycin, actinomycin D will act on the G1 phase and inhibits the cell growth. And in case of antibiotics like actinomycin D and antimetabolites like 5-fluorouracil, cytosine and methotrexate, this will act on the G1 phase, and furin antagonist, methotrexate, cyclophosphamide, 5-fluorouracil will act on the S phase. So likewise, different type of anti-neoplastic agent will act on a specific phase of the cell cycle, so thereby it inhibits the cell growth. And another one is the phase non-specific agents. So examples of these phase non-specific agents are cyclophosphamide, chlorambucil, carmustine, dacarbazine, busulfan, L-asparginase, cisplatin, and procarbazine and actinomycin D. So these are the some examples of phase non-specific agents, and these will act on the proliferating cells. Proliferating cells, that means the proliferating cells are more susceptible to these type of drugs. That means there is no specific site for these drugs. They will act on any stage of the proliferating of the cells, and thereby it prevents the or inhibits the proliferation of the cells, and thereby it shows the anti-neoplastic activity. Coming to the chemical classification, so this classification, the anti-neoplastic agents are classified according to their chemical nature. So first one is the alkylating agents. These alkylating agents are further divided into nitrogen mustards. Examples of these nitrogen mustards are mechlorethamine, cyclophosphamide, efosamide, methylphan, chlorambucil. When seeing the chemical structure of these compounds, so the mechlorethamine consisting of bis chloroethylene groups. These chloroethyl groups are attached to the amine nitrogen along with the methyl group. So that's why it is called as the methyl chloroethamine. In case of cyclophosphamide, so it consisting of bis 2-chloroethyl groups to the amine nitrogen along with oxazophosphoamine group. When seen the mechlorethamine in place of methyl group, so the cyclophosphamide consisting of oxazophosphoamine group. And in case of efosamide, so it consists instead of 2 chloroethyl groups, it is having the 1 chloroethyl group to the amine nitrogen, and this amine nitrogen also attached to the oxazophosphoamine, and the azo group is also having the 1 chloroethyl group. In case of chlorambucil, the 2 chloroethyl groups are common. Amine nitrogen also substituted with phenyl propyl acid, and methylphan has the substitution to this amine nitrogen, so that is phenyl amino acid. Second subclass of alkylating agents is nothing but ethylene imines. So examples are thiotepa, hexamethylmelamine, so that is also called as R-tritamine. So when you see in these chemical structures, this thiotepa having the triethylene phosphoamides. But in case of R-tritamine, it has the hexamethylmelamine. That means that thiotepa having the triethylene phosphoamide groups. In case of R-tritamine, it has the hexamethylmelamine groups. And third one is the alkyl sulfonate. So example of alkyl sulfonate is busulfan. So this busulfan has the 2 methyl sulfonate groups, so which are connected to opposite ends. So thereby it has the 4 carbon alkyl chain. So that means 2 methyl sulfonate groups are connected to opposite ends. So the busulfan has the 2 methyl sulfonate groups which are connected to opposite ends. And fourth one is nitrosoureas. Examples are carmustine, lomustine, streptozocin. And this carmustine, lomustine has the urea group to this urea. So there is a 1,3. So that is a 2 chloroethyl groups are attached at 1 and 3rd place. So the carmustine has the 1,3 dichloroethylene group to the urea. And in case of lomustine, it has the 1 cyclo 2 chloroethyl group to this urea, and is the structure of streptozocin. And next one is the triazines. Examples are procarbazine, dacarbazine, temozolomide. So these are the examples of triazines, and these compounds having the triazines in their chemical structures. So there is a triazine group is present in each compound. Next class of this chemical classification is platinum coordination complex. Platinum coordination complex. Examples are cisplatin, carboplatin, oxaliplatin. These compounds has the platinum complexes. So the platinum molecule is there. To that platinum molecule, different substances are added according to their coordination numbers. Under the chemical classification, so first we discussed about the alkylating agents, and second one is the platinum coordination complexes. These two classes has the same mechanism of action. So let us see the mechanism of action of these two chemical classification. So these compounds will produce the highly reactive carbonium ion, so which is the one of the intermediate. So that intermediate is nothing but carbonium ion, and this carbonium ion transfers alkyl group to the cellular macromolecules by forming the covalent bond. So that means, so the compounds, alkylating agents are platinum coordinating complex. So these two types of antineoplastic agents will produce the highly reactive carbonium ion, and this carbonium ion will transfer the alkyl group to the macromolecule. So here the macromolecule is nothing but DNA, so our fragment of DNA. To that DNA, it transfers the alkyl group by forming the covalent bond. So that means at the 7th nitrogen of guanine residue, here it is the fragment of DNA. So 7th nitrogen atom of the guanine residue, to this position, the alkyl group of the carbonium ion is transferred. So thereby the cross-linking or abnormal base pairing will occur. So when you observe this reaction, this is the basic structure of the alkylating agents, or this is the basic structure of the alkylating agent. So this will release the carbocation or carbonium ion. So when there is a release of chlorine, and thereby this carbonium ion or carbocation will form the covalent bond with the 7th nitrogen of guanine, so which is present in the DNA structure, and thereby it forms a cross link with the guanine residue. And when it forms the cross linking, so the abnormal base pairing or the reading of the base pair is abnormal, or incorrect reading is occurred during the base pairing. So that is happen, and thereby it leads to abnormal cell growth. So thereby it leads to stoppage of the cell division or DNA replication process. So during this process, so at this starting stage, that is the initial stage, the 2-chloroethyl side chain undergoes first order substitution, first order nucleophilic substitution reaction. So that means so there is a cyclization will occur, intermolecular cyclization will occur, and it forms the tricyclic structure at the nitrogen, and this will considered as the carbocation. And when this carbocation is produced, and this can able to form the cross-linking or covalent bond with 7th nitrogen of guanine ion, and then after, so after the cross-linking, second chlorine which is present in this one also has the capability to form the carbocation, and again this carbonium ion will has the tendency to react with other guanine residue by cross-linking at 7th nitrogen. So this is happen during the alkylation process of the DNA. Coming to the SAR of alkylating agents, so first we will see in the SAR of nitrogen mustard. So these nitrogen mustards are produced from the sulfur mustards. This sulfur group is replaced by the nitrogen. So the reason for this one is to reduce the toxicity of sulfur mustards. So when compared to the sulfur mustards, nitrogen mustard have the lower toxicity. And for the action of this nitrogen mustard, the bis 2-chloroethyl group is essential. 2-chloroethyl group is responsible for the formation of azaridine group or azaridine cation, or it is also called as carbocation, and this can able to transfer the alkyl group to the DNA structure or DNA fragment. In case of melphalan and chlorambucil, so they are having the phenylalanine and aminophenyl butyric acids in their structures respectively. And here when seeing this phenylalanine, so this is the phenylalanine in case of methylphan, and chlorambucil has the aminophenyl butyric acid in their structures. So these two are essential for producing the oral bioactivity. These drugs has the phenyl substitutions, and these phenyl substitutions will allow the oral route availability of the drugs. The phenyl group also, or the phenyl group or aromatic rings, maintains the molecule more stable and enabling the better distribution of the drug throughout the body before forming into the cation. So the presence of the phenyl groups or aromatic groups in the methylphan or chlorambucil will produce the stability of the compound, and also they can better distribute throughout the body before forming the cation. And another alkylating agent, bendamustine, so which is another type of nitrogen mustard, benzimazole ring, so which will provide the more stability and local and faster action when compared to other nitrogen mustards. Next, when you see the SAR of cyclophosphamide, and so this should require the bis chloroethyl amino group, so for their antineoplastic activity, and the chloro atom provides a maximum activity. So when there is a chloroethyl amino group, and the chloro atom, that is electronegative atom, is required to show the maximum activity, and the LEVO isomer of this cyclophosphamide is inactive, and dextro isomer is the active. And triethylamine, so for example, so instead of diethylamine, triethylamine derivative is inactive, so that means only it requires a diethylamine group. So when there is a triethylamine derivative is present, so that is inactive for antineoplastic activity. And the prodrugs like cyclophosphamide and ifosfamide, oxazophosphorinins, so these are inactive when they are administered, but so they are inactive when they are administered due to the presence of oxazophosphorin ring. So these drugs are required to activate by the cytochrome P, so thereby the bis 2-chloroethyl group is activated, so which is responsible for formation of the alkylation with DNA molecule. And here when you see in this cyclophosphamide activation or metabolism, so the first cyclophosphamide, which is having the oxazophosphorimine group, when it is enter into the liver, so the cytochrome P450 oxidase, cytochrome P450 oxidase will hydroxylate this cyclophosphamide, and thereby it activates the 2-bis 2-chloroethyl amine group to alkylating the guanine residue. And further it is converted to 4-keto-cyclophosphamide, and this is the inactive in nature, and from this 4-hydroxychlorophosphamide, so it will convert it to aldophosphamide, so which is also another active compound for antineoplastic activity. And this aldophosphamide is again converted to carboxyphosphamide, so which is also inactive, and by the non-enzymatic process, so there is a formation of acrolein, which is also cytotoxic in nature. Acrolein and phosphamide mustard, these two are cytotoxic in nature, but so by the action of aldehyde oxidase, it forms the carboxyphosphamide, so which is so inactive for antineoplastic activity. And when you see in the SAR of ethylene imines, thiotepa has the structure, So that is 3-ethylene imine azaridine groups. 3-ethylene imine azaridine groups. So they can stabilized by the thiophosphoryl base. So these drugs are these ethylene imine azaridine groups are stabilized by thiophosphoryl base, and so that means the azaridine group is essential for cytotoxic activity. So in case of altritamine, so which is the methyl melamine, that is a hydroxymethyl and so when compared to this thiotepa, altritamine has the higher half-life due to the presence of this large complex or the large or bulky structure. Due to the presence of bulky structure, that is a hexamethyl melamine groups. And when seeing the SAR of triazines, so in case of temozolamides, so this consisting of triazines, and this triazine is inserted into the cyclic structure, and so that is nothing but a combining of imidazole ring, so which forms a small lipophilic molecule, so which is having the capability to penetrate in the blood-brain barrier. So, and this imidazole ring is responsible for more rapid and onset of action. Both the prodrugs dacarbazine and temozolomide, so these drugs needs to activated so to produce the active metabolites to show their activity, so by the action of cytochrome P450 at physiological pH. And these metabolites, so which are formed by the methyl diazonium cations, so which is responsible for DNA binding. So that is the alkylation process. Next, when you see in the SAR of nitrosoureas, so these class of drugs like carmustine, lomustine, so which are having the nitrosourea groups, and along with the nitrosourea groups, it is also having 2-chloroethyl. So these two groups are essential for the antineoplastic activity. So the carmustine is bifunctional, so that means it having the two 2-chloroethyl groups. And in case of lomustine, so which is the monofunctional, it is having the only one chloroethyl group, and another one is a cyclohexyl substitution is there at the first position. So thereby it increases the half-life. The spontaneous degradation of molecules releases the diazo hydroxide, and which is decomposed by the releasing of azaridine cation. So this azaridine cation is responsible for cytotoxic activity. So when you see in this carmustine, when the carmustine is subjected to degradation process, it releases the isocyanate as well as diazo hydroxide. The released diazo hydroxide shows the cytotoxic activity, so by interacting with the DNA fragments. And when you see in the SAR of alkyl sulfonate, so examples of alkyl sulfonate are nothing but busulfan and triosulfan. So these drugs having the sulfonates in their structure, the sulfonates are required to show the antineoplastic or cytotoxic activity against to the DNA replication. So in case of busulfan, removal of one of these groups generates the cation, so that cation will alkylate the DNA. So when you see in the busulfan, removal of one of these groups, so either this one or this one, will release the cation, and this cation will able to form the alkylation of DNA. So in case of triosulfan, it has two hydroxyl groups in this structure, so which makes the compound more hydrophilic in nature, and thereby it shows the oral bioavailability. And when there is a pH dependent reaction, so this triosulfan is converted into mono and di-epoxides that has the alkylating activity. So when there is a pH dependent reaction, this triosulfan is converted into mono and di-epoxides, and that di-epoxides will has the alkylating activities. And when it comes to the SR of platinum coordination complexes, the platinum coordination complexes has the substitutions, and these substitutions are required for showing the stability of these platinum coordination complexes. And the hydrochloride and oxalate molecules has the capability to displacing the water molecule in the reaction, and thereby it produces the cation, and that produced cation will alkylate the DNA. When you observe this, the greatest half-life of the carboplatin, so this carboplatin has the greatest half-time or half-life. So when compared to this cisplatin, due to this larger substituents are present in their chemical structure. So that means it requires the more time to metabolize. So thereby it has the more half-time or half-life. So when seeing these SARs of different alkylating agents, so there are some general statements regarding the SAR of alkylating agents. That is nothing but these alkylating agents are not related to the specific receptors or similar to the endogenous molecules, and it can able to penetrate the cells and forms the reactive species, and that reactive species will bind and causes the damage to DNA. So that is the nature of the alkylating agents. That means these alkylating agents are not acting on the receptors or any other similar endogenous molecules, but it has the ability to penetrate the cells, and they can release as the reactive species like carbonium ions or cations, and that cation or carbonium ions will has the binding capability to the DNA, thereby it causes the DNA damage or it stops the cell replication process. And for the better activity of these alkylating agents, so there is electronegative group is required in the structures. For example, in case of chloride, so the chloride is required to shows the better anti-neoplastic agent. So this chloride will induce the pores in molecules, and another requirement is electron acceptor group. So that means electronegativity group and electron acceptor groups like amine nitrogen. Amine nitrogen is required. These two are required to show the better anti-neoplastic activity of these alkylating agents. Up to now we discussed about the introduction to the cancer, types of cancers, cell cycle, anti-neoplastic agents, classification of anti-neoplastic agents and its mechanism of action, along with the structural activity relationship of alkylating agents. So in next class we'll discuss about the remaining chemical classifications of anti-neoplastic agents along with the mechanism of action and structural activity relationship. Thank you.